Odelia and Robert celebrated their third wedding anniversary by inviting all their friends, but when she arrived, she saw him on one knee, proposing to his first love. The spacious private room echoed with everyone chanting, say yes, kiss her, Robert. Don't say we didn't give you a chance. Who doesn't know you've been pining for Rosalind even after marriage? Stop fooling around. If Odelia sees this, she'll get angry. Rosalind lowered her head bashfully. After all, Odelia is pregnant now, she shouldn't get upset. Robert, you can't back out now. You lost the dare, this is your perfect chance. You have to kiss her. Their friends kept egging them on. Robert gazed at the woman before him, felt a sudden impulse, and leaned in to kiss her. Just as he was about to kiss Rosalind, Odelia by the door spoke up. What are you doing? Everyone was startled. When they saw Odelia, they quickly started making excuses for Robert. We weren't doing anything, sis. Just fooling around. You were about to kiss her, that's just fooling around. Odelia looked cold-faced. Robert's friends, seeing her displeasure, quickly dispersed. I have things to do, I'm heading back first. I'm leaving too. Robert, happy third wedding anniversary to you and your wife. Seeing his friends all leave as soon as she arrived, Robert frowned and said impatiently, enough, we were really just playing a game, truth or dare, and lost. What's there to be angry about? Odelia touched her slightly swollen abdomen and looked at the man before her, a flicker of disappointment flashing in her eyes. She was already 3 months pregnant. She had been looking forward to this gathering, thinking he would prepare an even bigger surprise for her after her pregnancy. Little did she know, today's surprise was indeed big enough. Robert, don't be angry, sister-in-law must have misunderstood. Rosalind walked over with a glass of water and handed it to Odelia. Sis-in-law, don't misunderstand, we were really just playing a game earlier. Whatever they said about Robert still liking me, please don't believe it. I apologize on their behalf. Afraid she hadn't heard the words spoken by Robert's brothers. Rosalind thoughtfully repeated them. Seeing Rosalind approach with the water, Odelia instinctively shielded her stomach, only to hear Rosalind let out a sharp scream. Ah, that hurts. She suddenly collapsed to the ground, the scalding tea spilling onto her hand, leaving a rapidly spreading red burn. Robert rushed over in panic, picking her up with heartache written all over his face. Rosalind, are you all right? I'm fine, brother Robert. Don't blame Odelia, she didn't mean to. Odelia nearly laughed aloud at her pitiful act. What brilliant acting. She hadn't even laid a finger on her. Odelia, do you realize what you're doing? If you're angry, take it out on me. Don't hurt Rosalind. We already have children, and yet you do something so heartless. Aren't you afraid our children will suffer the consequences? To stand up for Rosalind, he even resorted to cursing their own children. After saying this, Robert picked up Rosalind and turned to leave. Odelia followed him downstairs and grabbed his hand. Where are you going, Robert? Today is our third wedding anniversary. How can you just walk out holding another woman? Let go, Odelia. If anything happens to Rosalind, I'll never forgive you. What could happen? It's just a scalded hand, what could possibly happen? And I didn't even touch her, she fell on her own. Odelia was furious, she had done nothing wrong. Yet Robert chose to believe Rosalind's words over hers. It was the same 3 years ago, and nothing had changed even now. His heart has truly always been with Rosalind. You're still making excuses. Get out. Robert gave a forceful push, and Odelia, losing her balance, tumbled straight down the stairs. Overwhelming pain struck her as she watched Robert's figure and cried out in agony. Robert, don't go, my stomach. Robert stopped in his tracks, but merely looked at her coldly. Odelia, I don't have time for your games. Rosalind is a star. Do you realize her hands can't be scarred? How could you be so vicious? With those words, Robert carried Rosalind away without looking back, watching his retreating figure. Odelia closed her eyes in despair. The sharp pain beneath her grew unbearable, forcing her to turn to those around her for help. Save me, save my child. A hot flow streamed between her legs as a strong metallic scent assaulted her senses. Odelia looked down and saw a pool of bright red. No. Tears gushed forth as terror reached its peak within her heart. Her baby, she couldn't lose her baby. Miss, what's wrong? Are you okay? Let me call 120 for you. Someone found Odelia lying in a pool of blood and immediately dialed 120. In the ambulance, Odelia was in so much pain she nearly passed out, yet she still mustered her strength to beg the doctor. Doctor, I beg you, save my child. My baby is only 3 months old. Please, I'm begging you to save him. Miss, don't worry, I'll do my best. I'll call your husband right away and have him come to be with you. The doctor knew the child couldn't possibly be saved and didn't dare upset her further. Hello, is this Odelia's husband? The call connected, but the voice that answered belonged to Rosalind. Need something? Who is this? Odelia, is your husband there? Please have him answer the phone. MS, Odelia is hemorrhaging badly on the way to the hospital. Tell him to get there immediately. When the call came through, Robert had already taken Rosalind to the hospital. Robert went to pay the fees, leaving his phone in Rosalind's bag. Odelia, you're really something. Even finding someone to act out this drama with you. Did you think using your child as an excuse would make Robert come running back to you? Odelia, if I hadn't gone abroad 3 years ago, I'd be Robert's wife today. He's always loved me. What could you possibly compare? Miss, this is a matter of life and death. I don't care who you are. Give the phone to the patient's husband immediately. Hearing Rosalind's words, Odelia spoke weakly. Rosalind, I'm not competing with you. I'm begging you, let Robert go to the hospital. My baby is slipping away. I don't believe you. Since you refuse to give up, I'll show you today who matters more, me or the child in your belly. Odelia pleaded desperately, while Rosalind's voice came through the line. Robert, it's Odelia on the phone. She wants you back. Saying something's wrong with the baby. Don't mind her. She might be lying to me again. Your hand is more important. The doctor will be here soon. Don't be afraid. Robert's words pierced through her heart like a sharp sword. Odelia flashed a look of sorrow in her eyes as her consciousness gradually faded. Before the doctor could say another word, Robert had already hung up the phone. The doctor called again. Robert had turned off his phone. What kind of mess is this? Miss Odelia, don't be afraid. We will definitely help you. The doctor held her hand, immense pain enveloping her. Odelia could feel that her child was gone. When she woke up, the air was thick with the smell of disinfectant. It was somewhat pungent, stinging her nose and eyes until they ached. The doctor looked at her with sympathy and said, "It's all right. You're still young. There will be more children." She stared at the ceiling, raising a hand to touch her now flat stomach, unable to hold back the tears that slid from her eyes. Only she knew just how hard won this child had been. The Sampson family never liked her and kept pressuring her to get pregnant. When she became pregnant, the whole family was overjoyed. But now, the child is gone, killed by its own father's hand. The Sampson family probably won't care about her anymore. Where's the child's father? I'll call him to come take care of you. Odelia blinked weakly and said, "There is no father. That can't be." The doctor flipped through her records. "I see you're married, you have a husband, but he never came for any prenatal checkups. How could he not come for something as serious as a miscarriage?" Odelia suddenly realized that throughout all this time, she had attended every prenatal appointment alone. 3 months ago, when she found out she was pregnant, Robert was initially very happy too, saying he would accompany her for the first ultrasound. But that very day, Rosalind returned. Rosalind came back, and Robert's heart was almost no longer with her. For every prenatal checkup, he made excuses about being busy. She had actually known for a long time that he had met with Rosalind several times, but she had kept silent for the sake of their child. Now that the child was gone, she wouldn't give him any more chances to hurt her. She was going to divorce Robert. After chasing him for 7 years, she was exhausted. "If your family hasn't arrived, you'll have to go pay the fees yourself." The doctor wrote her an admission slip. She lifted the blanket and climbed out of bed, dragging her weakened body. After just a few steps, she encountered Robert and Rosalind walking toward her. Robert carefully supported Rosalind, and upon seeing her, quickly shielded Rosalind behind him. "You actually followed me here. Rosalind's hand is already injured. What more do you want?" Seeing Robert's guarded expression, Odelia felt nothing but heartbreak. "Robert, don't speak to Odelia like that. She didn't mean to. She must have come to apologize to me." Rosalind leaned almost entirely against Robert. "Odelia, I don't blame you. It's all right. Since you're here to apologize, go outside and buy some food for Rosalind. She injured her hand and needs to be hospitalized." Odelia glanced at Rosalind's hand, just a small red patch. "That warrants hospitalization. What about her? She'd lost her child. What was she supposed to do?" Her eyes reddened involuntarily. Odelia twisted her lips, choking back sobs too thick for words. Seeing her unusual demeanor, Robert frowned. softening his tone. "What's wrong with you? I'm just asking you to apologize to Rosalind and buy some food. Is that too much to ask?" "No," Odelia forced a smile. "No regrets. What's there to feel wronged about? The child is gone. And all grievances pale in comparison. All right, you go home and wait for me. Once Rosalind's hand has healed, I'll come back to you." This sentence sounds so familiar. She's heard it countless times before, and she truly doesn't believe it anymore. Rosalind, on the day she returned, she had a prenatal checkup scheduled. He said he had something to attend to and told her to go to the hospital first, promising to meet her there later, but she waited at the hospital all day long, and he never came. The television broadcasted Rosalind's return to the country, and amidst the crowd, she spotted Robert holding yellow roses. His white moonlight returned, so he went to pick her up at the airport. Rosalind, on the third day after her return, Odelia ran a high fever. Unable to take medication for the sake of the child, she endured it alone at home while Robert went to the film set to accompany Rosalind during her shoot. She called him, saying she felt unwell, and he also told her to wait. That he'd be back soon, but it wasn't until the next afternoon, when her fever had subsided and she was no longer suffering, that he finally returned. So many times, Odelia had almost lost count. After repeated disappointments, she had Robert an argument with. Robert also promised her that he wouldn't abandon Odelia for Rosalind again. She also said she'd only give him 5 chances. This time happened to be the 5th. "Rosalind hasn't eaten yet, since you don't want to go buy food. I'll accompany her. You can head back first," Robert spoke, interrupting Odelia's train of thought. "Okay." Odelia didn't say anything unnecessary and started walking forward. Noticing the paper in her hand, Robert froze. "What's that you're holding?" "Nothing." Odelia tucked the paper into her pocket and continued walking forward. Robert called after her, "You have a prenatal checkup in a few days, right? After I finish taking care of Rosalind, I'll pick you up for the hospital appointment." Odelia paused mid-step, unable to hold back her tears any longer. "We'll talk about it then." Odelia finished speaking and turned to look at him. "Robert, the 5 chances are used up." "What?" Robert frowned. "Odelia, what 5 chances? That was just a joke. I didn't take it seriously, and neither should you. Once Rosalind's hand heals, I'll come back to you and the child." A flicker of guilt passed through his eyes, but he still supported Rosalind as they walked away. Watching his retreating figure, Odelia silently vowed, "Robert, the 5 chances are used up. From now on, I won't give you any more opportunities to hurt me." After going downstairs, Odelia took out her phone to pay the bill. While waiting in line, she staggered and nearly collapsed to the ground. Seeing her condition, the nurse quickly supported her. "Miss, you look terribly pale. Why did you come down to pay by yourself? Where's your husband? Let me help you, thank you." Odelia felt a wave of warmth in her icy heart. Even a stranger could tell she looked unwell. But what about Robert? His eyes were only for Rosalind, completely oblivious to her. Odelia spent 3 days in the hospital, during which Robert didn't even call her once. She guessed he probably hadn't even returned home those 3 days. "Odelia, let me examine you to see if you can be discharged today." A group of doctors came for rounds, chatting while examining her. "Did you hear? That big celebrity Rosalind is in our hospital. Heard she burned her hand. Just a minor injury really. Didn't even need hospitalization. She was discharged earlier today." "Who's that handsome guy next to her? So good looking. Is he her boyfriend?" "No idea, but he's really good to her. Taking care of her every need. I wish I had a boyfriend like that." She heard their words crystal clear. How ridiculous. She was clearly Robert's wife. Yet here he was in the same hospital, taking care of another woman for 3 straight days. "Odelia, you can be discharged now. Is no one coming to pick you up?" The doctor was somewhat curious. He hadn't seen any family members visiting her these past few days. She'd been handling everything herself. It couldn't be easy for a woman alone. "No one is." Odelia sighed helplessly as she got out of bed and began packing her belongings. "Such is the inequality of fate," she murmured. The doctor shook his head and turned to leave. Odelia, when she returned home, Robert was wearing an apron, cooking porridge in the kitchen. In 3 years of marriage, she had never seen him cook. Odelia thought he had finally developed a conscience. Seeing her return, Robert demanded without explanation, "Why are you only coming back now? You're already 4 or 5 months pregnant. What are you doing running around everywhere?" Wouldn't it be better to stay quietly at home? Odelia frowned, wanting to argue with him. She had barely been pregnant for 3 months, yet he didn't even know how far along she was. But it didn't matter anymore. Odelia was exhausted. She didn't speak and just wanted to go back to her room to sleep. A stunning figure dashed down the stairs like a gust of wind. "Robert, is the porridge ready?" "I'm so hungry." Seeing Rosalind, Odelia's gaze turned icy. "He actually brought her home, almost ready. Little glutton. Come eat." Robert placed the porridge on the table and served Odelia a bowl as well. "Come and eat too." Odelia stood still without moving. How could she be here? "Odelia, my house is being renovated. I had nowhere else to go, so I had to ask Robert to bring me home. You don't mind, do you?" "Don't mind her. This is my house, not hers. There's no need to ask for her opinion. Robert owns many properties, but only one bears her name. That house is in the neighboring community, gifted to her by the Sampson family after they learned of her pregnancy. She's on the verge of divorcing Robert and has been seeking solitude these days. Whether it's Rosalind or Robert, she'd rather not see either of them. So she suggested, isn't there a house in the neighborhood next door? Why not let Rosalind move there? It would be convenient." "That's your house." Robert frowned, wondering why Odelia was being so generous. "If Rosalind needs it, let her stay there." She lifted her foot, ready to go upstairs. Robert called out to her, "Aren't you having porridge?" No, she hated seafood, especially seafood porridge. Odelia when she came downstairs again. The living room was empty of Rosalind and Robert, leaving only the servants clearing the table. "Madam, the master went to the neighboring community with Rosalind, After the servant spoke, Odelia showed no particular reaction. Shortly after, Robert's phone call came through. "I won't be coming back tonight. Rosalind is afraid of the dark, so I'll stay here with her." "Okay." Robert didn't expect her to be so understanding, his voice tinged with guilt. "I'm sorry, Odelia. Rosalind is still young and has always been childish, afraid of the dark and ghosts. I can't leave her alone here. Tomorrow's your birthday, and I'll come back to celebrate with you then." "All right, Odelia said nothing, responding with only a faint acknowledgement before hanging up the phone. She looked around, taking in the sight of the house. The walls were covered with numerous pictures of children. To help her conceive, Robert's mother had come and put up many photos of little ones. She was also given many traditional Chinese medicines to drink. Not being naturally fertile, she indeed drank them for a long time before finally conceiving. Now that the child was gone, and she was preparing to divorce Robert, these pictures no longer had any reason to remain. She stood up, climbed to a high place, and began tearing down the paintings from the wall one by one. The maid was startled. "Madam, why are you climbing so high? Think of the baby in your womb." "It's fine." She tore down all the paintings, stuffed them into a trash bag, and ordered the maid to throw them away. Immediately after, she made a phone call to her lawyer, asking him to come by tomorrow. The lawyer drafted a contract according to her request. "Odelia, are you sure you want nothing?" "Yes, nothing at all." She didn't want to entangle herself with Robert, not the house, the car, nor any property. It's not that she lacked money, she just didn't need Robert's. "All right, please review this. If everything looks good, I'll proceed with printing. Could you please call me to the law office to sign after printing? Also, please don't tell Robert about the divorce for now." "Very well, Mrs. Sampson, I'll take my leave now." The lawyer wanted to ask something, but ultimately asked nothing. As he pushed the door to leave, Robert returned. This lawyer had always handled some affairs for their company. Seeing him at home today, Robert was somewhat puzzled. "Why would you come to my house?" "Oh, Mrs. Sampson asked me to come over, so here I am." With that, he quickly left. "Why did you call a lawyer?" "Nothing." Odelia glanced at him, looking exhausted with dark circles under her eyes. You could tell he hadn't slept all night. She casually asked, "Didn't sleep well last night?" "Oh, that little girl insisted I watch horror movies with her. You wouldn't believe it, she's scared stiff but still insists on watching," Robert said with a laugh. "We watched all night. I'm completely exhausted." Perhaps he didn't even realize himself how happily he smiled whenever he mentioned Rosalind. It was a smile Odelia hadn't seen in a long time. The last time she'd seen it was probably the day they found out she was pregnant. "Why aren't you sleeping over there? After all, that place isn't my home." Robert took off his coat and handed it naturally to Odelia. "Besides, I told you, today's your birthday. I should accompany you back to celebrate." Odelia took the coat, which carried a strong, pungent perfume scent. She casually placed it on the sofa and subtly distanced herself from Robert. "By the way, when did you say the prenatal checkup was?" Robert walked over and placed his large hand on Odelia's abdomen. "Baby, do you miss Daddy? Next time Daddy will accompany Mommy to the prenatal checkup, and we'll get to see you. Are you looking forward to it?" Watching Robert's joyful expression, Odelia felt a chill run through her heart. Their child had already been killed by his own hands, so how could they still be looking forward to meeting Robert? "Will you be free next Monday?" "Yes, this time I definitely will be." Robert stood up and hugged Odelia from behind. "I'm sorry, Odelia. I admit I've been neglecting you lately, but it's really because you're too jealous. Rosalind and I aren't like what you imagine, we're just friends. Besides, yesterday you got angry with me in front of my friends and didn't save me any face. Did you?" Odelia's back stiffened, but she remained silent. "He's been married for 3 years, yet he proposed to Rosalind in front of everyone. Did he save me any face?" Robert, seeing this, continued to coax her. "How about this? Since it's your birthday today, wherever you want to go, I'll go with you." "All right." Odelia didn't have any particular place in mind, but having grown up in the north, she had never seen the ocean. Robert had once promised to take her to the Maldives to see the sea. Many years had passed, yet this wish never came true. "I want to go to the Maldives. You promised me you'd take me to see the ocean." Robert frowned. "It's too far. The round trip would take too long. Let's just go see it in a nearby city. I'll book a homestay, and we can be back by next Monday." "I was just kidding." Odelia smiled. She had just been testing him. Sure enough, he still couldn't bear to part with Rosalind. To celebrate Odelia's birthday, Robert booked a restaurant. Odelia didn't want to go at first, but thinking that after this meal, they would never see each other again, she agreed. After arriving at the restaurant, Robert considerately took out the menu and let Odelia order first. "Order whatever you want." He acted very considerate, but before Odelia could decide what to eat, Robert had already started naming dishes one by one. "I'll have the vanilla lamb chops, French escargot, and foie gras, oh, and a bottle of red wine." Odelia frowned. Not one of these 3 dishes was to her liking. From what she remembered, Robert never ate lamb either. Before she could ask, Rosalind had already appeared before her. She pulled out a chair beside her, quickly sat down, and took off her mask. "Oh, Odelia, happy birthday. I was filming nearby and didn't have lunch, so Robert invited me along because he was worried I'd be hungry. You don't mind, do you?" Odelia opened her mouth to speak, but before she could say anything, the waiter had already brought the dishes to the table. "Wow, all my favorite dishes. I'm so hungry. I'm digging in first." Rosalind picked up her knife and fork without hesitation and began eating happily. Robert looked at her adoringly. "Of course they're all your favorite dishes. I ordered them specially for you. Eat slowly." "Thank you, Robert. You're so good to me. Love you." She flashed Robert a brilliant smile, then realizing what she'd said might be inappropriate, quickly turned to Odelia to explain. "Sorry, Odelia. I'm so used to saying love you to my fans that it just slipped out. You don't mind, do you?" "Why would she mind? She's well aware of our relationship." Robert stood up, picked up a tissue, and gently wiped the soup from the corner of Rosalind's mouth. "You little greedy cat, no matter how old you get, you still manage to turn into a messy kitten while eating." A wave of nausea washed over her, and Odelia couldn't bear to look at them for another second. "I'm not feeling well. I'm going to head out first." "What's wrong?" Robert looked at her with concern. "Is the baby acting up again?" "The little one really isn't being well behaved at all." Just when she thought he would take her home, Robert said instead, "If you're not feeling well, you should go back first. I'll come find you after Rosalind finishes eating." Odelia looked at him, a trace of self-mockery flashing in her eyes. In his heart, the pregnant her was never as important as the hungry Rosalind. Suddenly, the smoke alarm went off, and someone shouted, "Fire, run!" Odelia hadn't even processed what was happening when a crowd of people started rushing out in panic. Amid the chaotic scene, Odelia stood frozen in place, unsure what to do. She instinctively looked toward Robert, only to see him scoop Rosalind up into his arms and dash outside. From beginning to end, he never even glanced her way. Fortunately, it was just someone smoking, accidentally setting off the alarm. There was no actual fire, and soon, everyone returned to continue their meal. also including Robert and Rosalind. Robert, I was really scared just now. Good thing you were here, Rosalind returned with Robert's support, practically clinging to Robert, after she finished acting cute. Robert reached out, stroked her long hair, and said gently, "You forgot, little girl, I told you I would always protect you." It was like drinking a mouthful of cold water, the chill running from the throat all the way down to the stomach. Odelia looked at Robert, feeling utterly disappointed. She thought back to 3 years ago, the day Rosalind went abroad. When Robert took them hiking, Rosalind said she had something to tell Odelia, but deliberately picked a fight with Odelia. Then staged a fall all by herself. Robert came and, without any hesitation, started scolding Odelia relentlessly. Later, when descending the mountain, they encountered monkeys trying to snatch their bags. Odelia was blocked by monkeys. Robert immediately shielded Rosalind tightly in his arms, afraid she might get frightened. At that moment, she finally understood everything. After all these years, Robert has never loved her. In his heart, his eternal white moonlight Rosalind will always be more important. "Oh dear, Odelia, I completely forgot about you," Rosalind returned and, upon seeing Odelia, deliberately covered her lips with a look of surprise. "Are you okay? Why didn't you run?" Robert only then remembered that Odelia was also here. Earlier, while protecting Rosalind as she left, he had completely forgotten about Odelia's presence. A flicker of guilt crossed his face as he quickly walked over, took her hand, and explained sincerely, "Odelia, I'm sorry, I wasn't thinking clearly earlier. It's just that Rosalind is a celebrity, she absolutely cannot get hurt." "I know," Odelia interrupted him. She had heard enough of such words and didn't need him to repeat them over and over again. "Odelia, you won't blame me, will you?" Odelia withdrew her hand and smiled at him. "No, Odelia, you're so kind." Robert froze momentarily. In the past, she would have definitely made a fuss. Today, she surprisingly showed little reaction and even said she didn't blame him. "Don't worry, I swear I'll never neglect you again." Seeing his earnest expression, Odelia lowered her eyelids, so vows could be false too. Ahem. Rosalind suddenly started coughing. Robert quickly released Odelia and turned to Rosalind. "What's wrong, Rosalind? Are you feeling unwell?" "Maybe it's the mutton I just ate, my throat feels awful. I'm so uncomfortable." "Robert, Odelia." Robert turned his head, eyes full of concern. "Rosalind isn't feeling well. I'll take her home first." "Okay," Odelia nodded. "Go ahead, be good." Robert kissed her forehead before helping Rosalind turn and leave. After walking a few steps, he glanced back at the woman still standing in place. Her slender figure stood alone, looking utterly pitiful. Robert suddenly realized with a start he'd promised never to neglect her again for Rosalind's sake. But it seems he never managed to do any of that. He made up his mind after this, he would go back and make it up to Odelia properly. After they left, Odelia returned to her seat, and the waiter brought over a double-layered cake. "Happy birthday, miss. This is the birthday cake Mr. Robert prepared for you." The waiter looked around and noticed Robert had already disappeared, leaving only Odelia sitting there alone. "Leave it here, thank you." The waiter lit a candle for her and gave her a small doll as a gift. Odelia closed her eyes and made a wish. She hoped her baby could be reincarnated soon, into a family where mom and dad loved each other dearly, to live a happy life forever. After making her wish, she took a bite of cake. Though it was clearly sweet, it tasted bitterly bitter to her. Not long after finishing the cake, her lawyer called to say the divorce papers were ready and she could come sign them anytime. She went to the law firm, glanced at the agreement, and signed it without any issues. "Mrs. Sampson, you and Mr. Robert even have children together, and everyone knows how much you love him. Why the sudden decision to divorce?" The lawyer looked at Odelia and finally voiced the confusion in their heart. "Call me MS, Odelia. Robert and we're done." Odelia smiled without answering his question. "Also, Attorney Stan, please personally deliver this divorce agreement to Mr. Robert tomorrow. Once he signs it, notify me. I'll then provide you with an address to mail the agreement to me." MS, Odelia. "Does Mr. Robert know you're divorcing him? What if he refuses?" "Hihi," Odelia laughed. "That's unlikely. He's been eager to divorce me, why would he refuse? If he really does, I'll sign a few more copies for you to take to him." "Understood, MS, Odelia. I'll handle it properly. Thank you." After explaining everything, Odelia returned home. The house was empty. Robert hadn't come back yet. She began packing her belongings, and the maid grew curious upon seeing her prepare luggage. "Madam, why are you suddenly packing your things? I'll be away for a few days." Odelia offered no further explanation. Having already purchased tickets to the Maldives, she was going to see the ocean. Robert's unfulfilled vow that she would fulfill herself. "Does the master know?" "He doesn't need to know." Odelia packed her luggage, then placed all her previous prenatal checkup records, ultrasound images, and miscarriage medical records into a small box. This would be her final gift to Robert. She really wanted to see Robert's reaction when he found these things: regret, guilt, grief, or despair. But what's the use now? The child is already gone. She picked up the box and handed it to the maid. "Give this box to Mr. Robert tomorrow morning." The maid reached out to take it, puzzled, and asked, "Madam, why don't you wait for the master to return and give it to him yourself?" "I'm leaving." Odelia just smiled. Why? Because she no longer wanted to see Robert. She never wanted to see him again in this lifetime. She boarded a plane to the Maldives, and the moment the plane took off, Odelia felt an unprecedented sense of relief and joy. So this is how happy it feels to walk away from someone who doesn't love you. Robert was about to leave after sending Rosalind home. But Rosalind kept begging him to stay, leaving me alone again. "Robert, you know how much I hate being by myself. You can ask your agent to keep you company." "Rosalind, I need to go back. Today's Odelia's birthday, and I promised I'd spend it with her." Robert kept checking his watch. It was already dark, and he wondered if Odelia had returned home yet. Thinking back to her condition today, he couldn't help but feel uneasy. Pregnant women are always more delicate and sensitive than ordinary people. When the fire alarm went off today, he didn't think of her and their baby. He really should have. Rosalind pouted her red lips. "Fine. But promise me you'll come keep me company tomorrow. We'll talk about it tomorrow." Robert hurried home and pushed open the living room door. But Robert didn't see Odelia. In the past, when he came home late, she would sit on the living room sofa, knitting sweaters for their unborn baby while waiting for him. But today, the living room was empty, with no sign of Odelia. "Odelia," he tentatively called out, but there was no one. Suddenly, he noticed all the paintings of children on the living room wall were gone. A surge of inexplicable anger rushed to his head. Robert shouted loudly for the servant to come. "Young master, you're back. Where are all the paintings on this wall? What happened to them?" "The mistress tore them down." The servant answered cautiously. "They were torn down several days ago. They've been gone for days." Robert only just noticed. "Is that so?" Robert frowned. He genuinely hadn't noticed. "Where is my wife?" "The mistress has left." "What?" Robert froze, as if he hadn't heard the servant's words clearly. "Left? Gone where?" "I don't know. She said she'd be away for a few days." Robert's face darkened. "She's due for prenatal checkup tomorrow, yet she's still running around everywhere. She must be throwing another tantrum. I really thought she wasn't mad at me anymore." Ignoring her, Robert took a shower and went straight to bed. The first thing Robert did upon waking the next morning was ask the maid, "Where's my wife? Has she come back?" He hadn't slept well all night, his mind filled with thoughts of Odelia. She had never stayed out all night before, and without her by his side, he always felt like something was missing. "No, young master." The servant brought over a metal box and handed it to Robert. "I almost forgot. Before Madam left yesterday, she asked me to give this to you." "What is it?" Robert impatiently opened it. "We agreed I'd accompany her to the prenatal checkup today, but she doesn't take it seriously at all. When I didn't go with her before, she got angry. Now that I'm free, she's throwing another tantrum." After opening the metal box, Robert saw a photo of a baby. Tiny, though just taking human form, yet utterly adorable. This was his and Odelia's baby. Once born, it would surely be beautiful. Scrolling further down reveals records from each prenatal checkup. The baby was fine and healthy. At the very end were several receipts and a medical record booklet. When Robert opened the booklet and saw the word miscarriage written inside, Robert stood frozen in place, his face deathly pale, his hands trembling slightly as they held the medical records. Miscarriage, impossible. Robert refused to believe it, taking out those documents to examine them carefully. The date showed that on their third anniversary, Odelia had undergone an abortion procedure. His mind flashed back to that phone call Rosalind received after he had left that day. At last, he truly panicked. It was real. Her child was really gone. Why? How could the child be gone? Frantic, He grabbed the servant's arm. Did you know Madam's child is gone? The servant was also startled. No wonder Madam didn't return for 3 days the other week, and when she came back, she ordered us to tear down the paintings on the wall, so it was because her child was gone. She hasn't come back for 3 days. Why didn't you tell me she hasn't returned for 3 days? Young master, you were also hospitalized those days. You didn't come back either, and we couldn't reach you. The servant couldn't help asking. Madam was at the hospital too, didn't you two meet at all? Robert's pupils trembled slightly. I did see her. He had seen her, watched her approach from a distance with deathly pale features. He'd thought she'd rushed to the hospital specifically to make trouble for Rosalind, but looking back now, she went to the hospital because she had lost the baby. She stayed in the hospital for 3 days, with no one knowing or caring for her. How did she endure it, young master? Though I am just a servant, there are some things I shouldn't say, but you've been far too cold toward Madam. She was pregnant after all, she should have been cherished like a treasure. Yet you kept abandoning her for that, Rosalind. It was truly too much. The servant's words made Robert's expression grow increasingly grim. In remorse, he slapped himself hard. It's my fault. I shouldn't have. He shook his head and collapsed onto the floor. It was me who killed our child. It was me. I was wrong. I'm inhuman. He slapped himself over and over until even the servants couldn't bear to watch. Young master, I think you should stop blaming yourself for now. Madam has gone missing, and you should hurry to find her. The servant's words brought Robert back to his senses. He struggled to get up from the ground and stumbled downstairs, determined to find Odelia. The front door was knocked, and Lawyer Stan walked in. Mr. Robert, hello, Attorney Stan. What are you doing here? Looking for Odelia. She's not here. You should leave. Robert wanted to go out to find Odelia, but was stopped by the lawyer. Excuse me, Mr. Robert, I'm not here today for Ms. Odelia. I'm here for you. What do you mean Ms. Odelia? She's my wife. Robert was infuriated by Attorney Stan's words. You've always called her Mrs. Sampson. What's gotten into you today? I think this will make it clear. Attorney Stan took out the divorce papers and handed them to Robert. Seeing the few large characters before him, Robert shook his head, unable to believe what he was seeing. What's this? It was Ms. Odelia who instructed me to prepare the divorce agreement. Attorney Stan said calmly. Ms. Odelia wants to divorce you. She has already signed it. Once Mr. Robert signs it, your marital relationship will be completely dissolved. Divorce? What divorce? When did I ever say I wanted a divorce? Robert went berserk, snatched the agreement, and tore it to shreds in a matter of moments. Attorney Stan didn't stop him either, but calmly took out another copy from his bag. Mr. Robert, it's no use refusing to believe this fact. Afraid you might tear up the agreement. Ms. Odelia signed multiple copies. Feel free to shred them all. Impossible. She would never divorce me. Robert refused to believe this fact. Odelia loved him most and would never divorce him. He still remembered Rosalind the year she went abroad. When his family pressured him to marry, though she knew full well he didn't love her, she married him without hesitation. These 3 years, Robert hadn't treated her particularly well, but he gave her everything she was due. Everyone knew Odelia loved him deeply. Whenever he went out for social engagements, no matter how late it was, she would immediately drive to pick him up with just one phone call. When he got drunk, he would often shout Rosalind's name in front of everyone and throw tantrums. Odelia never got angry, just waited silently by his side until he sobered up and calmed down, then took him home. All these years, no matter how much he acted out, she stayed by his side. Gradually, he developed feelings for her too, and they even had a child together. Just as everything was moving in a positive direction, Rosalind returned. He had grown accustomed to it, accustomed to Odelia forgiving him time and again, which was why he could hurt her so recklessly, over and over, but this time, it seemed she wouldn't forgive him. Mr. Robert, are you all right? Attorney Stan frowned at his pained expression. If you'd known this would happen, why did you act that way? After all these years with you, Ms. Odelia's love for you was evident to everyone. This time, I truly believe she's utterly disappointed. That's why she's filing for divorce. Mr. Robert, for all the care she's given you, just sign the agreement. Robert looked up, his eyes bloodshot as he stared at the lawyer. Attorney Stan, please tell me, where has Odelia gone? I'm just her lawyer, not even a friend to Ms. Odelia. Why would she tell me where she's going? Robert didn't believe it. No, You must know where she is. Tell me, how much money do you want? I'll give you anything." He took out his checkbook from his pocket, writing and tearing off check after check to hand to him. "How much? 100,000, 500,000, a million, 10 million, Robert said frantically. "Just tell me where she is, and I'll give you whatever you want." Attorney Stan just looked at him calmly. "Mr. Robert, I really don't know. Besides, even if I did, I wouldn't tell you. It's a matter of professional ethics for a lawyer." Ethics? To hell with that nonsense. With that money, you can do whatever you want. Who cares about ethics? "Sorry, I really don't know," Attorney Stan said expressionlessly. "Mr. Robert, you should understand Odelia's meaning. Since she's made up her mind to divorce, she absolutely won't let you find her. So why would she tell me where she is?" "I understand." Finally, he gave up. Robert nodded and slumped onto the sofa. "Attorney Stan, you can go back first." "All right, please Mr. Robert, sign as soon as possible. Don't make things difficult for me. I'll take my leave now." After the lawyer left, Robert's phone rang. He thought it was Odelia calling. "Odelia, Mr. Robert, is that you? I'm Rosalind's agent. She's been in a car accident and was taken to the hospital. She said she wants to see you. Are you available?" She was in a car accident. Robert furrowed his brows, but he didn't have time to deal with Rosalind's situation right now. This was the first time he realized that, between Rosalind and Odelia, he had chosen Odelia. "Is it serious?" After a moment of hesitation on the other end, the person quickly said, "It's quite serious. As you know, Rosalind is a celebrity. A car accident can be a big or small matter, but if she ends up with scars, her career could be ruined for life. Moreover, she's been unconscious and keeps calling your name. We had no choice. Mr. Robert, if you have time, please come over." Robert let out a deep sigh. "I understand, I'll be right there." After hanging up, Robert rushed to the hospital in a daze. "I thought Rosalind was seriously injured, but when I pushed open the hospital room door, I saw her sitting perfectly fine on the bed, munching on an apple." Seeing Robert, she quickly jumped off the bed and ran toward Robert. "Robert, you're here." Robert looked her up and down. "Didn't you get into a car accident?" "Yeah." Rosalind pouted her red lips and pointed to the band-aid on her head. "Can't you see? I hit my head, and it really hurts." Looking at the small band-aid on her forehead, then glancing at the very helpless agent beside her, Robert finally realized he had been tricked. "Why did you lie to me?" "What do you mean I tricked you?" "I really got into a car accident. I'm injured." Rosalind only then realized Robert was acting strange. In the past, if he knew she was injured, he would have rushed over to find her immediately. Today, it was only because her agent told a little lie that she managed to trick him into coming. "Weren't they saying you were unconscious? Weren't they saying you were seriously injured, and it's just a minor scrape? Yet you made me come." Robert step by step approached her, his tone terrifyingly sharp. Rosalind was startled, her eyes gradually filling with tears. "I just wanted to see you, Robert. What's wrong with you today? How could you be so angry with me? Do you know, Odelia's child is gone?" Robert grabbed her arm, his eyes bloodshot. "What?" Rosalind was stunned for a moment, finally understanding why Robert's behavior had been off today. "So, Odelia's child was gone." A faint, almost imperceptible flicker of delight crossed her eyes. It was good that the child was gone. She had been worrying about how to make Robert divorce Odelia. Now, with the child gone, the obstacle was removed. And they could be together. That day at the bar, if you hadn't been injured, I wouldn't have directed all my anger towards Odelia. I wouldn't have pushed her down the stairs, and our child wouldn't have died. Robert, as he spoke, his grip on her arm tightened. Rosalind cried out in pain. "Robert, calm down. What happened that day wasn't your fault. It was Odelia. She deliberately splashed water on me. Didn't you say it yourself? The child in her womb will face retribution sooner or later for her actions. Perhaps this is her punishment." "What did you say?" Robert's face darkened. He never imagined that the usually innocent and kind-hearted Rosalind would say such things. The agent sensed something was wrong and quickly pulled the two apart. "Mr. Robert, calm down. Rosalind is still just a child. You two have such a good relationship. You shouldn't be angry with her." "It's precisely because I've always treated her like a child that I've been so indulgent with her." Robert let out a mocking laugh and said self-deprecatingly, "That's why Odelia became disappointed in me and wants to divorce me." "Really, Odelia wants to divorce you?" Rosalind didn't notice Robert's reluctance and sadness. Instead, she asked him excitedly, "So did you agree? When are you going to start the procedures?" "Rosalind," the agent tugged at her arm, signaling her to stop talking. Rosalind paid no attention and continued on her own, saying, "Robert, you don't like her anyway, do you? The one you've always liked is me, right? I like you too. Divorce Odelia, and as soon as you do, we'll get married right away." Robert suddenly realized that Rosalind had always misunderstood his feelings. She thought he still liked her, believed he would divorce Odelia and be with her. No wonder, Robert smiled self-deprecatingly. No wonder Odelia misunderstood that something was going on between us. It turns out what I did was so inappropriate. "Rosalind, I stopped liking you long ago. The person I like is Odelia. I only see you as a sister now." Robert calmed down and decided to make everything clear. "Robert, what are you talking about?" Rosalind stared at him in disbelief. "You say you don't like me. Impossible. As soon as I returned to the country, you came to pick me up and brought my favorite yellow roses. When I filmed until late at night, you stayed by my side the whole time. When I got injured, you rushed me to the hospital without a second thought. And that day when the restaurant caught fire, both Odelia and I were there, yet you quickly carried only me out, not even caring about Odelia's unborn child. And now you're telling me the person you like is Odelia? That's just too ridiculous." Her words struck him like a blow to the head, making Robert realize how much he had hurt Odelia during this time. He was wrong. He was terribly wrong. On the night the restaurant caught fire, she remained calm, and he thought it was because she was magnanimous and didn't hold it against him. It turned out she was utterly disappointed and had no expectations of him left. "I'm sorry. I'm so sorry." Heartbroken, Robert's desire to see Odelia reached its peak. He missed her so much, so very much. "Robert, I don't want you to say sorry to me. I want you to be with me." Rosalind grabbed his hand, but he shook it off abruptly. "Rosalind, let's not see each other anymore. I told you, the one I love is my wife Odelia. I'm leaving. Don't look for me anymore." After saying this, Robert left without looking back, watching his retreating figure. Rosalind still wanted to chase after him and say something, but was held back by her agent. "If you still want to be with him, don't bother him now." "But he's going through a divorce with Odelia right now. Shouldn't I take advantage of this opportunity?" Rosalind was puzzled. What a perfect chance this was. "Listen to me. Would I ever steer you wrong?" "Okay." Rosalind nodded obediently. Then they would wait a little longer, let Robert cool down first. Soon he would come to realize that the person he loved most was her. Rosalind. Robert rushed home, and the first thing he did upon arriving was head straight to his room. He remembered that when they had serious conflicts before, Odelia had also played the runaway game, but back then, she intentionally left all her things at home, then used the excuse of coming back to get them as a way for Robert to save face, and later they reconciled. Robert quickly opened the wardrobe, wanting to see if Odelia had taken all her clothes. He thought this time she would be tricking him just like before. When he opened the wardrobe, Robert realized that all her clothes were gone. This time, she really wasn't planning to come back. He remembered that Odelia was serious about the 5 chances. She said she would only give him 5 more chances. So quickly, he had used up all 5 chances. Could she still come back? Could she give him another chance? Overwhelming pain washed over him. Robert sat motionless in place for a long time. Suddenly, as if remembering something, he took out his phone and wanted to call Odelia, but he just couldn't find Odelia's phone number. He was sure he had saved Odelia's number, so how could it be gone? Unable to find her number, Robert thought he could recall it from memory, but no matter how many times he tried, he just couldn't remember what her number was. Instead, the number that kept popping into his mind was Rosalind's. For so many years, Rosalind's number had been etched in his memory, but Odelia's, he had never bothered to memorize. He remembered when they first got married. Odelia said, "Robert, you must remember all my numbers, including my phone number and ID number." Robert dismissed it. "What's the point? Are you afraid that one day I won't be able to find you?" But this time, he truly couldn't find her. He racked his brains but still couldn't recall her number. So he had no choice but to call his good buddy. "What's going on? You're Odelia's husband. If you don't know her number, how would we know?" "Robert, stop joking around. Odelia is your wife. How come you don't even know her number? Ask her friends. We're your friends, not hers." He made many phone calls. only to realize in the end that he didn't even know who Odelia's friends were. After all these years, it seemed like he had never seen Odelia with any other friends around her. Her life seemed to have always revolved around him, and she had long since lost herself. After a thorough search, he thought of WeChat again, but no matter how she searched, she couldn't find Odelia. He didn't know that on the night Robert went to accompany Rosalind, Odelia had gotten hold of his phone. She saw that the pinned contact in Robert's WeChat was Rosalind, while she herself was hidden in some corner, requiring several pages of scrolling to be found. When she clicked in, the entire screen was filled with messages she had sent to Robert. Robert either didn't reply or responded with just 2 or 3 words. At that moment, she felt that she meant absolutely nothing to Robert. So she used Robert's phone to delete her own WeChat account. She deleted her number from his phone as well. After completing all this, she quietly put everything back in its place. In the following days, Robert never contacted Odelia, so naturally he knew nothing. "Odelia, do you hate me this much?" In unbearable agony, he had no choice but to call his assistant to look up Odelia's number. Soon, the assistant found it and sent it over. He kept dialing the number until it finally connected. Robert called just as Odelia was sunbathing on a beach in the Maldives. The scenery here is beautiful. Odelia had never seen the ocean before and was utterly enchanted. Originally, losing the child had left her in deep sorrow, but coming here made everything suddenly clear and bright. The instructor was about to take them snorkeling. Odelia's phone kept ringing incessantly. She took out her phone, and seeing the caller ID, she understood Robert must have seen the divorce papers and likely knew their child was gone. Odelia didn't want to deal with him, so she hung up the phone. Robert was persistent, calling over and over again. The coach urged her, "It seems pretty urgent over there. Take the call first, we'll wait for you to get in the water." Taking a deep breath, Odelia felt it would be better to make some things clear, so she answered the call. "Hello, Odelia, you finally answered my call." On the other end of the line, Robert's anxious voice came through. Odelia blinked her eyes. After all these years, it seemed like the first time she'd heard Robert speak to her in this tone. "Do you need something? Where are you? I miss you so much. Can I come pick you up?" Robert pleaded almost desperately. "I know, I was wrong. I shouldn't have hurt you again and again for Rosalind's sake. I truly know I was wrong. Will you forgive me?" Listening to his words, Odelia felt nothing stir within her. "Robert, I have nothing left to say to you. Over these years, I've said all there is to say. As for the divorce, I've already entrusted everything to lawyer Stan. If you have any questions about the agreement, go to him. Don't come to me. Can't you give me one more chance? Let me make it up to you, okay? I swear, I'll never see Rosalind again, and I'll cut all ties with her." Another oath. Odelia could only laugh bitterly. "Robert, how many times have you sworn to me these past 3 years? I've lost count. Do you really think I'd believe you now? Believe me, I'm serious this time. I can do it. Just tell me where you are, okay? Forgive me. Give me one more chance." Robert spoke through tears and sobs, but Odelia on the other end of the line remained unmoved. "Robert, even if I were willing to forgive you, our dead child would never forgive you. Don't forget it was you who pushed me down the stairs. You who stood by and did nothing, causing our 3-month-old baby to die inside me." As she spoke these words, Odelia was already streaming with tears. She sniffled and choked out, "Robert, since the one you love isn't me but Rosalind, I'll step aside. After we divorce, whether you marry her or stay with her will be none of my concern. You called me jealous, called me heartless. Well, rest assured, you'll never have to worry about that again." With that, without waiting for Robert to say another word, Odelia hung up the phone. She wiped the tears from her face and then turned off her phone. "Coach, I'm ready, let's get in the water." Odelia entered the underwater world with the coach's help. The ocean was truly beautiful, more stunning than she could have ever imagined. Only here Odelia could find a moment of peace. Odelia hung up the phone, and when Robert called back, it was already switched off. While making the call, he had already instructed his assistant to trace Odelia's location based on the phone signal. Soon, the assistant had the results. "Mr. Robert, the madam is currently in the Maldives." Upon hearing this location, Robert's eyes gradually dimmed. The Maldives was the place Odelia wanted to visit most. She was a child from the north, but because she loved the south, she had taken exams to come to the city where he lived. They met during their university days. when he was the president of the student union and she was the vice president. The first time she saw him, he was wearing a white shirt, recruiting new members in the rain. His handsome appearance made her unable to resist falling for him. To get closer to him, she worked hard to improve herself. Even though she knew there were other girls around him, she still quietly stayed by his side. She had liked him from the very beginning and pursued him for a full 7 years. It wasn't until his relationship with Rosalind ended that he began to accept her. Right after they got married, Odelia said, "Robert, I want to see the ocean. I've never seen the ocean in my life. Can we go to the Maldives for our honeymoon? I heard the sea there is very blue." At that time, Robert didn't love Odelia at all. He married her simply to numb himself, to keep from thinking about Rosalind. Later, on their wedding anniversary, Odelia brought it up again. "Robert, I really want to see the ocean. When will you take me?" In truth, he knew that Odelia could very well go by herself. She just wanted to go with him, hoping he would care more about her and love her a little more. It was him who had been neglecting her all along, never taking her words to heart. Maldives, she really went to the Maldives, all by herself, this time. Was it because she was completely disappointed in him that she went alone? Robert didn't hesitate. After getting Odelia's specific location, he immediately packed his bags and prepared to head to the airport. Just as he stepped out, Rosalind's agent appeared by the door. Her eyes were red. When she saw Robert, she cried out in despair, "Robert, I thought you were sincere about Rosalind, but I never expected you to treat her like this. What's wrong with her now?" Now hearing about Rosalind, Robert only felt a headache. He realized that after all these years, his love for Rosalind had long since vanished. His mind was now completely filled with Odelia, and he had no desire to deal with Rosalind's matters at all. Rosalind took pills and tried to kill herself. What? Robert looked at her in shock, but quickly regained his composure. What trick is she trying to pull now? I'm really busy and don't have time to play along with her antics. If she really wants to kill herself, just take her to the hospital. There's no use looking for me. Robert was about to leave when his agent grabbed his arm in disbelief. "Mr. Robert, are you really going to ignore her? Do you know that when the doctors took her to the hospital, she refused gastric lavage? After finally getting her stomach pumped, she woke up and didn't see you there, so she started threatening to jump off a building." As the agent said all this, Robert remained unmoved. "All of this was her own decision. It has nothing to do with me. Aren't you being too cruel? If you hadn't given her false hope, how could she have ended up like this?" The agent almost knelt down to Robert. "I'm begging you, please go see her. She hasn't eaten or drunk anything for days and refuses to go to the set. If this continues, she'll ruin her own future sooner or later. You used to be her boyfriend, surely you won't just ignore her life, will you?" Robert felt helpless. But since it was a matter of life and death, he had no choice but to follow the agent to the hospital. When he arrived at the hospital, Rosalind was lying in bed, her face deathly pale. Seeing him come in, she weakly blinked her eyes and called out to him in a feeble voice, "Robert, you're here. Why go to such lengths?" Robert asked, "Did you try to kill yourself because of me, Rosalind? You weren't like this before." 3 years ago, Rosalind was selected to study abroad. Robert told her not to go. She didn't hesitate to break up with him, saying her dream was to become a star. She wanted to pursue her ideals and would never look back. Even when Robert said he would support her going abroad and wait for her return at home, she refused. Fearing she might succumb to temptation and be with someone else during those years away, she insisted on breaking up with Robert. 3 years later, he married someone else, but she suddenly returned. When she came back, she even sent him a text message asking him to pick her up at the airport. He admitted that seeing Rosalind again still gave him the flutter of youthful infatuation. He grew up with Rosalind being 3 years younger, and he had always treated her like a princess, holding her dearly in his heart. How could they have ever imagined, growing up together and naturally becoming a couple, that such a day would come? "I regret it, Robert." Rosalind's face was deathly pale, her voice barely audible as she spoke. "Only now do I realize that you are the most important to me. I love you, I still love you. What about you? I'm sorry, I don't want to lie to you." Robert stood up, looking at her with determination. "When I married Odelia 3 years ago, I did love you, but now, I don't love you anymore. The only person I love is Odelia, both now and in the future." Rosalind opened her mouth, hardly believing what she had just heard. She had put on an act with her agent, thinking Robert would feel sorry for her and change his mind. Instead, he told her he only loved Odelia. "I'm going to find Odelia. You should rest and stop doing foolish things. I'll be on a flight in 3 hours, and my phone will be off. Even if you want to reach me, you won't be able to, so please don't hurt yourself." With that, Robert left without looking back. No matter how much Rosalind pleaded, Rosalind couldn't believe he could be so resolute. As Robert reached the ground floor, she climbed onto the windowsill and sat there, shouting Robert's name at the top of her lungs. "Robert, if you dare leave, I'll jump from here right now." It was supposed to be just acting, but the agent noticed Rosalind's emotions were becoming unstable, bordering on agitation. She reached out, trying to calm Rosalind, only for Rosalind to scream at her to stay away. "Get away, don't come near me. I have everything now, everything except love." 3 years. I thought I'd long forgotten what love felt like, but the moment I saw you, my love came rushing back. I've never forgotten you. I've always loved you, so why did you have to fall for someone else? Rosalind perched precariously by the window, her whole body swaying as if she might plunge downward at any moment. The crowd of onlookers below was growing larger, and someone recognized Rosalind. "Isn't that the big star Rosalind? Oh my God. She's actually going to jump off the building and commit suicide. For what? Is it because of a broken heart? The news said she doesn't have a boyfriend. What's going on? Oh my God. This is so dangerous. She wouldn't actually jump, would she?" Seeing Rosalind's actions, Robert frowned. "Rosalind, you're crazy. Do you know what you're doing?" "I know. I want you back. I won't allow you to go find Odelia. I want you to divorce her." Rosalind stared intently at Robert. She was gambling. Had been gambling since 3 years ago. When she went abroad 3 years ago, she bet that he wouldn't fall in love with anyone else during those 3 years. 3 years later, she bet that he wouldn't abandon her for someone else. But she lost the bet. Robert fell in love with someone else. Robert looked up, gazed at Rosalind for a few minutes, and then slowly said, "I'm sorry, Rosalind. Take good care of yourself." After saying this, he quickly turned and left, seeing him about to leave. Rosalind shouted, "Robert, you'll regret this." As soon as the words left her mouth, she had already jumped down from the windowsill. She jumped. "Rosalind, don't." The agent lunged forward, trying to grab her arm, but caught nothing, and could only watch helplessly as she jumped. Fortunately, the airbag had already been inflated. Rosalind, though she jumped, remained completely unharmed. The agent breathed a sigh of relief, but Rosalind, who was lying on the air mattress, sat up and looked at the departing Robert. He was truly so heartless. Even if she had really jumped from the building, he wouldn't have so much as glanced back. "Robert, I hate you." "Rosalind, are you okay? You scared me to death." The agent quickly rushed downstairs, walked over to her, and grabbed her arm. "Have you lost your mind? Do you even know what you're doing? We agreed it was just acting. How could you actually jump off the building? What if you had died? How would I explain that to the Chabols?" Hihi. Rosalind looked up at her, but her gaze was utterly terrifying. "I'm not dead now, am I? Why are you panicking?" She looked strange, as if she had become a different person. The agent was somewhat confused but still said nothing. "It's good that you're okay. You really scared me." "All right, didn't you mention earlier that there's a dinner tonight and you want me to go? Aren't you the one who never liked those real estate moguls' dinner parties?" Rosalind blinked. "Like them? How could I not like them?" She knew that the Sampson family had started out in real estate. If she wanted to bring down Robert and get her revenge, she had to rely on the power of those moguls. "Robert, since you were the first to show no mercy, don't blame me for being ruthless." After playing in the Maldives for a whole day, Odelia had almost left all her unhappy thoughts behind. After returning to the hotel, she turned her phone back on. Fortunately, Robert didn't call again. She directly blocked his number to prevent him from bothering her again. "I hadn't been on for long when my parents called." "Odelia, why has your phone been off all day? You said you went to the Maldives. How many days are you planning to stay? Let Mom know before you come back, and I'll make you something delicious." "Okay, I'll come back once I've had enough fun. Be careful out there by yourself, and if you need money, just tell Mom." "Got it." After hanging up the phone, Odelia took a hot bath and had a good night's sleep. Early the next morning, someone knocked on the door. When she opened the door, a staff member delivered a large bouquet of roses. Red, a full 999 of them. Staring at the roses before her, Odelia froze. "What's this?" "Miss, These were sent to you by a gentleman. Please accept them." Upon hearing the waiter's words, Odelia instantly had a bad feeling. In this unfamiliar place, who would send her roses except for Robert? Sure enough, the next moment, Robert's figure appeared outside the door. The moment she saw him, Odelia's eyes instantly turned cold. She threw the roses out and directly closed the door. Seeing her react like this upon noticing him, Robert quickly ran over and began knocking on the door repeatedly. "Odelia, don't be like this. Please open the door and let me in." All right. By now, Odelia had already started packing her luggage. She had come here for a vacation, to enjoy herself. Robert chasing after her completely ruined her mood. She didn't want to stay here a second longer. "Odelia, I know, I was wrong. I shouldn't have ignored you for Rosalind. Let me in, and we can talk this through face to face." "Okay." Robert, seeing that she was ignoring him, climbed in directly through the window beside him. "Robert, what are you doing? Get out." Seeing him climb in, Odelia was filled with rage. "I won't leave unless you forgive me." Robert walked over, wanting to hold her, but she slapped him hard. "I said, get out, this is my room. You barged in without permission. I could call the police and have you arrested. You know that. Go ahead and call. As long as you forgive me, I won't blame you no matter what you do." Looking at Robert's serious expression, Odelia truly felt exhausted. "Robert, what exactly do you want? Haven't you caused enough trouble? I've already hidden myself away here, yet you still chase after me. I've already stepped aside for you and Rosalind. Can't you just leave me alone? There's nothing between me and Rosalind at all. The one I love is you. Ha ha ha." Robert had barely finished speaking when Odelia burst into loud laughter, as if she had just heard the biggest joke. "Robert, are you schizophrenic?" After laughing, Odelia's eyes gradually reddened. "You love me the most. That's why you can't remember my due date. You love me the most. That's why you proposed to another woman on our 3rd wedding anniversary. You love me the most. That's why, for Rosalind's sake, you pushed your pregnant wife down the stairs, ignored my cries for help, and killed our child. You say you love me the most, Robert. Don't you think everything you're saying is utterly ridiculous?" "I'm sorry, Odelia. I didn't mean it. I really didn't mean it." Robert knelt down directly in front of Odelia. "I thought you were making a scene again. I thought you were deliberately lying to me. So, yes, in your heart. I've always been a jealous woman, so I would splash boiling water on Rosalind's hand out of jealousy. I would curse our own child out of jealousy because you took her to the hospital, saying our child was going to die, just to get your attention. Robert, oh Robert, we've known each other for so many years, yet you've never truly understood me." Odelia took a deep breath, but tears still streamed down the corners of her eyes. "You say you love me, but what I want to tell you is, I don't love you anymore. Leave. And don't come looking for me again. Do you even know how happy I was here before you came? Because of you, all my joy has been ruined." Odelia looked coldly at the man kneeling before her and said, "Just consider it a favor, don't show up in front of me again." Odelia picked up her suitcase and was about to leave. Robert slowly rose from the ground. He was about to say something when his assistant called, "Mr. Robert, you need to come back immediately. The Sampson family has run into some problems. Many previously agreed upon projects have fallen through, and workers at several construction sites have all encountered incidents. The company is in complete chaos right now. You really should come back as soon as possible." "Understood." After hanging up the phone, Robert watched Odelia's retreating figure and quickly chased after her. "Odelia, I'm sorry." He blocked her path, lowered his head, and said softly, "I know you won't forgive me easily, but please give me some time. I will prove to you that I know I was wrong. I truly know I was wrong. Something has come up at the company. I need to go back immediately. I know you love the sea. You don't have to leave. I'll go right away." After saying this, Robert gave her one last reluctant look before boarding the boat and leaving. After Robert left, Odelia's rigid body finally relaxed slightly. Her suitcase fell to the ground with a loud thud. Watching Robert's receding figure, her heart twisted in a sharp, painful pang. "I clearly don't like him anymore. I'm utterly disappointed in him. Why does my heart still ache so much when I see him again?" Although she was reluctant to leave this place, Robert already knew she was here, so she had to leave immediately. Odelia looked at the nearest island, booked a flight, and quickly flew there. In short, she didn't want to see Robert, nor would she let him find her easily. She took out the phone card, wanting to throw it into the sea, but afraid that her parents wouldn't be able to find her, she held back. It's just that when it came to Robert, she was completely disappointed. Some people, once disappointed, will no longer hold any hope. Robert, she would no longer believe his words. Robert immediately flew back to his home country without delay. After returning, his assistant arranged meetings with those real estate tycoons on his behalf. How did it go, Mr. Tim? Mr. Ken, when are they willing to see me? Sorry, Mr. Robert, they insist on terminating the contract with you and refuse to meet. Why? Robert didn't understand. His cooperation with them had always been smooth, so logically this situation shouldn't have occurred, unless something had happened that he wasn't aware of, and, the assistant hesitated before continuing. The head of the finance department embezzled public funds and was just arrested. Additionally, several construction workers at our company's properties have committed suicide by jumping off buildings, which has also significantly impacted us. Robert looked serious. I understand. By the way, Mr. Robert, I forgot to tell you, Ms. Rosalind is waiting for you in your office. Rosalind. At the mention of Rosalind, Robert's expression darkened. I don't want to see her. Just tell her I'm busy. The assistant hesitated. I really think you should meet her. She's been coming almost every day while you were abroad. Understood. Robert sighed helplessly. It seemed unless he made things clear to Rosalind, she wouldn't give up. As the office door opened, Robert immediately spotted Rosalind sitting on the sofa. Seeing him, Rosalind casually lifted her gaze. Robert, you're back. Do you need something from me? Robert walked straight to the desk, picked up the documents, and started working without hesitation. The company was in complete chaos right now. He simply had no time to deal with Rosalind. I've made myself perfectly clear to you. There's nothing left to say between us. You'd better leave now. You're truly heartless. Rosalind walked up to him, her gaze icy as she met his eyes. Robert looked up at her and realized she wasn't the same person she used to be. She used to be famous for her purity, never wearing heavy makeup, but now she sports fiery red lips. And her hair has transformed from its original long, straight black into voluminous waves. Even her clothes have changed into a slit dress with spaghetti straps. Rosalind, how did you? Doesn't it look good? Rosalind laughed. Robert, do you like it? She circled behind Robert, bent down, hooked her wrist around his neck, and pressed her crimson lips to his ear, whispering softly, whenever you like, we can do it even in your office. I wouldn't mind. Rosalind, Robert was furious. He stood up and shoved her away. How could you become like this? How did I become like this? Rosalind laughed. Robert, don't all men like women this way? Or are you the exception? Enough. What exactly are you here for today? Nothing much. Just heard you wanted to see Mr. Tim and Mr. Ken. So I came specifically to help you. Rosalind stood up straight and smoothed her clothes. Hearing this, Robert quickly asked, You have a way. I have a way. Come to the Nightfall at 8 tonight. And I guarantee you'll see them. After saying this, Rosalind walked away in her high heels. Watching her retreating figure, Robert felt there was something strange about her, something very off. It's like he's a completely different person. It wasn't even 8 p.m. yet. Robert had already arrived at the Nightfall. Through the crack in the private room's door, he immediately spotted Rosalind. She was slumped in the arms of a portly man, laughing coquettishly and uncontrollably. Holding a red wine glass in her hand, taking occasional sips, watching the man place his hand directly on Rosalind's chest, and seeing her do nothing to stop it, Robert charged in. Rosalind, what are you doing, Mr. Robert? You're here. The man sitting on the sofa raised an eyebrow and glanced at him, and Robert realized that this fat man was none other than Mr. Tim. Mr. Tim. Robert squinted his eyes and looked at Rosalind. How had she become like this? How could she let people touch her so casually? You're late, so you have to drink 3 glasses as punishment, Mr. Tim pointed directly at the wine on the table and told Robert to drink, but he clearly wasn't late. In fact, he had arrived a few minutes early. What are you standing there for, Mr. Robert? Didn't you have something to ask? In that case, aren't you even willing to have a drink? That shows no sincerity at all. Beside them was another man, also holding a woman in his arms. Robert remembered that she was a female star who debuted around the same time as Rosalind, now also nestled in a man's arms, completely at his mercy. Witnessing this scene, his anger surged instantly. He rushed forward and grabbed Rosalind's hand. What are you doing? Come with me. Let me go. Rosalind shook off his hand. What do you think you're here for today? You came to beg Mr. Tim to give you business. Robert, you can't possibly be confused about the current situation, can you? I've been to your company, someone embezzled funds, someone had an accident at your construction site, and now there are issues with your partnerships. You must be very anxious, right? Yes, he was indeed very anxious. The Sampson family business was built from the ground up by his father, and he would absolutely not let it be destroyed in his hands. Mr. Tim, what do you want? What will it take for you to continue cooperating with the Sampson family? Today, it's not up to us here. It's up to Ms. Rosalind. Mr. Tim finished speaking, his greasy lips already landing on Rosalind's face. Rosalind didn't refuse either. Instead, she started acting coquettishly. Mr. Tim, you really do spoil me. After saying that, she even kissed Mr. Tim back. Watching this scene, Robert's brows were tightly furrowed. Rosalind, Mr. Robert, you'd better call me Ms. Rosalind. After all, we're not that familiar. Rosalind looked at him coldly and sat back on the sofa arrogantly. All right then, if you want to discuss cooperation, it's simple. Finish these 2 bottles of whiskey. Robert frowned. Drinking those 2 bottles of whiskey would probably cost him half his life. What's the matter, Mr. Robert? Don't you dare drink, Rosalind sneered. Aren't you afraid the Sampson family will be destroyed by you? I remember, the Sampson family was your father's life's work. On his deathbed, he entrusted the company to you, and now, in just a few short years, you're going to let the Sampson family collapse under your watch. Rosalind, you really want me to drink? Robert looked at the woman before him in disbelief. In just a few days, she seemed like a completely different person. Drink, if you don't even think about discussing cooperation with me. Rosalind glared at him sharply. Her eyes filled with hatred. At this moment, Robert finally understood that she was taking revenge on him. But for the sake of the company, he had no choice but to drink. Fine, I'll drink. Robert picked up the bottle on the table and started drinking directly from it. After a few gulps, he was already a bit unsteady on his feet. Robert had never been able to hold his liquor well. In the past, he mostly drank for Rosalind. He never thought that even now, he was still drinking because of her. Come on, Mr. Robert, why did you stop? Do you still want to cooperate or not? Mr. Tim and Mr. Ken smoked cigarettes, watching Robert as if he were a clown. For the sake of the Sampson family, Robert downed the entire bottle of alcohol in one go. His throat and stomach burned with a searing pain. He felt utterly miserable and truly couldn't bring himself to drink a second bottle. Mr. Tim, Mr. Ken, I really can't drink anymore. Please, seeing how sincere I am, agree to cooperate with me. All right then, if you can make our Rosalind happy, we'll cooperate with you. Robert heard this, looked up and gazed at Rosalind, but he saw Rosalind looking at him with an expressionless face, saying, "Get on your knees." What? Robert couldn't believe what he was hearing. Rosalind, what are you saying? Get on your knees. Rosalind curled her lips into a mocking smile and said, "What? Unwilling? Then forget about cooperation." No. Robert gritted his teeth and knelt straight down in front of Rosalind. Yet even so, Rosalind was still not satisfied. She raised her hand and slapped Robert across the face. "Robert, I'm telling you, you brought this upon yourself. Don't love me anymore. Is that it? Then I'll show you the consequences of not loving me." After saying that, she slapped Robert several more times in succession. Good shot, Mr. Tim even started clapping. Mr. Robert, I heard you hurt our big star quite badly. Her slapping you a few times was already going easy on you. Robert nodded. Yes, I wronged Rosalind. I hope you'll be magnanimous and forgive me. Forgive? Jump off the building right now, and I'll forgive you immediately. Rosalind had jumped off a building for him, and now she wanted Robert to taste the same bitterness. Rosalind, shut up. I told you not to call me that. Rosalind slapped him again. Then grabbed the bottle from the table and started forcing it into Robert's mouth. You want cooperation? Then drink. She kept pouring as Robert offered no resistance, letting the liquor flow down his throat. When he'd had enough, Rosalind shoved him away violently, looking at his drunken state. She pushed him to the ground and viciously kicked him a few times. Rosalind, have you calmed down? Can you agree to cooperate now? Robert was already barely conscious. Yet he still remembered why he came here today. Rosalind took a deep breath. Though much of her anger had subsided, She still hated him deeply, just as Mr. Tim was pleading for him. Robert suddenly spoke up. "Odelia, I miss you so much. Come get me now." Robert, hearing him mention Odelia, Rosalind's chest burned with fury. She grabbed a beer bottle from the table and smashed it hard against Robert's head. "Dream on, even if you jump off the building today, I'll never let Mr. Tim work with you, so give it up. Just wait and watch your crappy company go bankrupt." With those words, Rosalind left angrily. The bottle smashed directly onto Robert's forehead, blood streaming down from the wound. Robert raised his hand to touch it. "Odelia, I'm bleeding. Where are you? Bring the first aid kit quickly." The assistant, who had been waiting outside the door, saw Rosalind leave with a group of people and hurried inside, seeing Robert covered in blood and heavily drunk. The assistant was startled. "Mr. Robert, what's wrong with you? Odelia, where is she?" Robert grabbed his assistant's sleeve, crying out, "Odelia, where is she? Get her to come see me. I want to see her." "Mr. Robert, snap out of it. The lady isn't in the country anymore, she's in the Maldives. I don't care. I want to see her. You call her here to see me. Let her come take me home. Before, whenever I got drunk, she always came to take me home." Robert started acting drunk and disorderly right away. He missed Odelia so much, longing for the old days. He deserved to die. Why did he keep hurting his most devoted wife for Rosalind? He regretted it so much. If only Odelia would come back, he'd give up everything. "Mr. Robert, your head is still bleeding. Let me take you to the hospital first. We'll treat your wound, and then I'll call your wife to pick you up." "All right, you lied to me. Odelia won't come looking for me anymore. She hates me. She's angry with me. She'll never forgive me again." Robert threw a tantrum like a child. "I want to see her. If she doesn't come, I'm not leaving." The assistant had no choice but to take out his phone and call Odelia. Fortunately, when I previously sent Robert the number, he had also saved Odelia's contact himself. When the assistant called, Odelia had just disembarked from the ship. The attendant placed her luggage in the room. After a long day of travel, she was exhausted. When her phone rang and she saw an unknown number, her first thought was that it was Robert calling. "He's been haunting me like a ghost," which is utterly revolting. "Robert, I've told you countless times to stop bothering me. Do you have any idea how much I detest you?" Odelia answered the phone and immediately unleashed a torrent of words. The assistant cautiously said, "Madam, it's me. Need something?" Odelia's tone softened slightly, but remained cold. "Mr. Robert is in very bad condition right now. Could I beg you to come back?" "What does his condition have to do with me? We're already going through divorce proceedings. From now on, don't tell me anything about his affairs. Please, I'm begging you." "Mr. Robert truly knows he was wrong," the assistant pleaded. "Many things have happened at the company. It might go bankrupt." Mr. Robert went to ask for help but was forced to drink 2 bottles of whiskey and had his head injured. The bleeding won't stop, yet he refuses to go to the hospital, just keeps calling your name. "Madam, for the sake of your past marriage, I beg you, please come back." Hearing this, Odelia remained unmoved. Robert suffered all this because he brought it upon himself. It had nothing to do with her. Besides, compared to her deceased child, Robert's trivial troubles were nothing. Let me say it again, from now on, his affairs have nothing to do with me. Don't call me again. Odelia hadn't even finished speaking when Robert snatched the assistant's phone. "Odelia, is that you? I miss you so much. Please come back. Come pick me up. Every time I got drunk before, you would always come get me. I miss you. I miss our baby. Come back. I promise I'll treat you well." Robert hadn't even finished speaking when Odelia hung up the phone. Just hearing his voice irritated her. She didn't want to listen for even a second. This time, she also directly blocked the assistant's number. This can't go on forever. To completely get rid of Robert, she still needs to change her phone number. So she took out her SM card and threw it into the trash can. But she couldn't manage without a card, so she had to rush out and ask the staff where she could get a new SM card nearby. "Sorry miss, there's no place to get her SM card around here." Odelia frowned, thinking she should have gotten a new SM card back in the Maldives. She turned around unhappily, only to accidentally bump into a warm chest. When she looked up again, she saw a face as handsome as if it were sculpted. Sorry. Realizing he had bumped into her, Odelia instinctively apologized in Mandarin. The person raised an eyebrow, a fellow countryman. "Hihi, yes, what a coincidence. Odelia didn't expect to see a fellow countryman here and instantly felt much better. I just heard you say you need to get a phone card, right? The man took a spare roaming card from his pocket and handed it to her. If you don't mind, you can use this one. It's never been used, it's my backup card. Thank you so much. Odelia looked at him gratefully. How much do I owe you? No need, we're fellow townsfolk. The man smiled and walked away. Odelia stopped him. Thank you, but may I ask? What's your name? My name is Jeremy. I'll be staying here for a while. If you need anything, you can find me. Okay. Odelia nodded and turned to leave, but the man called out to her. Hey, you haven't told me your name yet. My name is Odelia. The man smiled slightly. Good, I'll remember that. Watching the man's retreating figure, Odelia raised an eyebrow. She had met a good person. Now she wouldn't run out of phone cards and wouldn't have to worry about Robert finding her. Robert, on his end, had finally managed to hear Odelia's voice, but before he could finish what he was saying, Odelia ruthlessly hung up the phone. He stared blankly at the gradually dimming screen, the drunken frenzy suddenly gone. The blood on his forehead had already dried, and he looked utterly disheveled. The assistant, seeing him like this, grew somewhat worried. Mr. Robert, are you all right? Robert blinked his eyes. Will my wife ever forgive me again? The assistant frowned, wanting to offer some comfort, but the words wouldn't come out. How could a woman possibly forgive a man who personally caused the death of her own child? Moreover, Robert harmed Odelia's child for the sake of Rosalind, not to mention Odelia. Even he himself would not forgive it. Mr. Robert, the company's matters are the most important right now. You should first think about what should be done. I need to go home for a bit. Robert supported himself on the table as he stood up, then had his assistant take him back to the old house. His father had passed away early, and almost all family matters were decided by his mother. Seeing him return to the old house completely drunk, Robert's mom was very displeased. What's going on? Why did you come over after drinking so much? Where's your wife? Why didn't she come with you? Robert's mom was packing things up. She had bought a bunch of nutritional supplements for Odelia and was planning to deliver them to her tomorrow. Although she had never liked Odelia, she still cared deeply now that she was pregnant. Mom, there's something I need to tell you. What is it? Robert's mom frowned. It couldn't be something happened to Odelia's baby, could it? That's the treasure of our Sampson family. If anything really happened, I won't let her off the hook. When the time comes, you'll divorce her too. If I'd known she had poor health and difficulty conceiving back then, I would never have let you marry her. Robert's mom rattled on, completely oblivious to Robert's expression. After a long silence, Robert spoke slowly. Odelia had a miscarriage. The baby's gone. What? Robert's mom was shocked and looked at him incredulously. Are you lying to me? The baby was perfectly fine. How could there be a miscarriage? Was it that Odelia, did she deliberately rob me of holding my grandchild? No, it was me. I pushed her down the stairs with my own hands, causing her to lose the baby. Robert's mom was shocked. Son, do you realize what you're saying? She was carrying your child. How could you push her down the stairs? Even if you were arguing, you can't just, I did it for Rosalind. I pushed her down the stairs. When she fell and bled, she called me, but I thought she was lying, so I ignored her, and that's how she lost the baby. Robert finished speaking, and Robert's mom staggered before collapsing onto the sofa. Have you lost your mind? What have you done? The day Rosalind returned to the country, I knew something terrible would happen. I turned a blind eye to your past with her, but how could you kill your own child for her sake? Mom, Rosalind has nearly driven the company into bankruptcy. I can't hold on any longer. Robert looked up desperately at his mother. I miss Odelia so much. I don't want to deal with the company anymore. I need to find her. With such a huge crisis at the company, all you can think about is running away. Robert's mom's eyes were red with anger as she looked at her son, utterly disappointed. I've told you repeatedly your relationship with Rosalind ended long ago. I warned you not to keep getting entangled with her, but you wouldn't listen. And now look, your child is gone, your wife is gone, and even the company is about to go under. Robert, oh Robert, how could I have raised such a fool? Mom, go ahead and scold me. I can't handle the company affairs anymore. I'm leaving right away to find Odelia. I know you have the ability to save the company. I'm sorry to trouble you. After saying this, Robert flew overnight to the Maldives. But when he arrived, Odelia had already left long ago. He asked many people and tried every possible method before finally getting news of her. Learning she had gone to another nearby island, he immediately chased after her. The azure sea meets the clear blue sky, with a gentle breeze blowing. Odelia sat by the pool sipping her drink, utterly carefree. Suddenly, a man emerged from the pool below, his robust physique, those well-defined 8-pack abs, and the captivating V-line drew almost everyone's gaze. Tiny droplets of water glistened evenly across every inch of his body. Shimmering faintly in the sunlight, Odelia blinked her eyes, and when she looked at his face again, she realized it was the man who had given her the card that day. Odelia didn't even have time to say hello before several blonde, blue-eyed beauties had already walked over to Jeremy. "Hey, handsome, are you alone? How about having a drink together? Yeah, we want to swim too. How about joining us?" Jeremy stepped out of the swimming pool, casually threw on a bathrobe. And instantly all the spring scenery vanished. "Sorry, I'm not alone." After saying this, Jeremy walked in the direction where Odelia was. "My girlfriend is here." "Oh, so you have a girlfriend?" The women felt disappointed and walked away one after another. Odelia was taken aback for a moment, then pointed at herself. "Are you talking about me? You don't mind, do you? I just wanted to use you as a shield." "No." Odelia smiled awkwardly and said nothing more. The man walked over and sat down beside her. Noticing she had been sitting by the pool for a long time without going in for a swim, he couldn't help but ask curiously, "Why don't you go for a few laps?" "Because I don't know how to swim." Odelia was from the north, where she hadn't seen much water to begin with, let alone learned how to swim. Even in a place like this, the most adventurous thing she had ever done was snorkeling in the sea, without a coach present. She didn't dare venture into the deeper waters. "Want to swim?" The man stepped into the water and reached out his hand to her. "I can teach you." Odelia blinked, feeling a bit eager. "Is that okay?" "Why not? As long as you want to, anything is possible." Jeremy gently took her hand and led her into the water. As soon as she entered the water, Odelia flailed around like a landlubber. Although she loved water, she was also afraid of the feeling of weightlessness. She was scared. So she clung tightly to Jeremy and refused to let go. Jeremy, he was almost suffocated by her tight embrace, yet still patiently coaxed. "It's all right, if you trust me. Gradually loosen your grip. I'll teach you. No need to be afraid." His gentle tone made her relax a little, so she loosened her grip. Under Jeremy's guidance, she quickly learned to float on the water and even managed to swim a few strokes. Not bad, quite talented, as she climbed out of the pool. Odelia immediately noticed Jeremy's scratches. Realizing it was her own doing, her fair face quickly flushed crimson. "I'm sorry, I scratched you just now." "Then, treat me to dinner." The man arched an eyebrow, his handsome face radiating irresistible charm. Odelia was also feeling hungry, so the two happily went to the restaurant for a meal. Actually, Jeremy didn't particularly enjoy being around women. He usually kept his distance when he saw girls, but for some reason, he always felt that Odelia was different from other girls. From the first moment he saw her, he didn't feel any aversion. After spending more time together, I found them quite pleasant. Robert arrived when it was almost dark. He found a room to stay in, hoping to encounter Odelia here. Walking onto the beach, someone was setting off fireworks. Odelia loved fireworks. She walked over, bought some, and handed them to Jeremy. "Want to play?" Jeremy frowned. What kind of grown man plays with fireworks? Before he could refuse, Odelia had already shoved the fireworks into his hand. The moment the fireworks were lit, Odelia was as happy as a child. So beautiful. Setting off fireworks on the beach was something she had always looked forward to. She loved the sea, and she loved fireworks. How wonderful it would be to stay here forever, carefree and happy. Watching Odelia happily holding the fireworks, Jeremy couldn't help but smile wryly. It was the first time he had ever seen a girl get so excited over just a few small fireworks. Just as he was about to join in her excitement, his phone rang. "Hello, Mom." "Jeremy, where the hell have you been? I set you up on a blind date, and even if you didn't want to go, you should have at least told me. The girl waited for you at the restaurant for hours, and you didn't even show up." As soon as the call connected, his mother angrily hissed into the phone. Jeremy frowned. "Mom, I told you. I don't like those girls. They only want to go on dates with me because the G family is rich. I'm not going." "Then what do you want to do? You're already in your 30s and still not married. At this rate, when will I ever get to hold a grandchild? Then why don't I just find someone who's divorced with 2 kids and marry them?" Jeremy rolled his eyes. It's not like being unmarried in your 30s was some kind of unforgivable sin. That works too. As long as you bring someone home, if it really comes down to it, even a man would do. You two can always adopt. Jeremy hung up the phone, looking utterly exasperated. He is the only child in his family, and his mother is desperate for a grandson. Raising his eyes to look at the woman in front of him, he raised an eyebrow, walked over, and asked, "Ms. Odelia, do you have a boyfriend?" "Me," Odelia smiled faintly and said calmly, "I have a husband, but we're in the process of getting a divorce." "Is that so?" Jeremy frowned. What a coincidence. He had just told his mother he would bring home a divorced woman with 2 kids. That child, no children. Odelia's sparkler went out, and the light in her eyes gradually dimmed. Sensing something amiss, Jeremy didn't press further. At that moment, Robert also came onto the beach and immediately spotted Odelia. His heart leaped with joy, but just as he was about to approach, he noticed a man standing beside her. The man had a better physique and was taller than him. Standing next to Odelia, they looked surprisingly well matched. Anger surged instantly. Robert frowned, wondering who this man was. Firework fragments landed on Odelia's head, and Jeremy carefully brushed them off for her. The movements between the two appeared extremely ambiguous in Robert's eyes. He completely lost it and quickly strode toward Odelia's direction. Odelia, at the sight of Robert. Odelia's already low spirits grew even heavier. She truly had enough. Why did Robert have to cling to her like a shadow, following her everywhere she went? "What are you doing here?" Her gaze was icy, devoid of any emotion when she looked at him. Meeting her eyes, Robert felt a pang in his heart. "I've missed you so much." Odelia scoffed. "Robert, how come I never realized before that you're such a persistent pest? I've made myself perfectly clear to you. Are you incapable of understanding human speech?" In the past, Odelia would never have spoken to him in such a tone. Robert was truly heartbroken. He said earnestly, "Odelia, please don't be like this. After so many years of feelings, how can you just let go so easily?" "Have you said enough?" Odelia said indifferently. "If you have nothing else to say, please leave. I really don't want to exchange another word with you." Odelia was about to leave. Robert blocked her way. "Do you hate me that much? Not even willing to say a single word to me? Sir, would you please step aside? She said she doesn't want to talk to you." Jeremy couldn't stand it anymore. He pulled Odelia behind him and stepped forward to confront Robert. Seeing him, Robert instantly flared up. "I'm talking to my wife. Who the hell do you think you are?" "Wife," Odelia said, "she's in the process of divorcing you. Strictly speaking, you're no longer a couple. Since you're not a couple, I have the right to speak up for her." "Odelia, you even told him we're getting a divorce. Who exactly is he?" Robert was furious, his eyes bloodshot as he glared at Odelia. "You said you were disappointed in me and wanted to see the ocean alone. Is it because you already have another man outside? Is this man your lover?" Robert had barely finished speaking when Odelia raised her hand and slapped him. "Robert, I'm not like you, I'm not that shameless." That slap completely woke Robert up. He was just so furious earlier that he ended up saying such things. He knew that Odelia wouldn't do this, but he was still angry. "I'm truly utterly disappointed in you. If you came all the way here just to slander me, then I really have to hand it to you." Robert, Odelia, must have been blind all these years to have fallen in love with such a shameless scoundrel like you. Her words were like a knife, cutting into his heart again and again. "I'm sorry. I was just so angry I lost my mind. How could I come here specifically to slander you? I just want you to forgive me. I don't want to divorce you. I love you. I really love you so much. For you, I'd even give up my company. Odelia, nothing is more important than you." Odelia really wanted to laugh upon hearing this, but she was too exhausted to even muster a smile. "Robert, can't we just part on good terms? Don't force me to spend every day hereafter remembering you with disgust and resentment, while I haven't reached that point yet. Leave this place and disappear from my sight." After speaking, she took a deep breath and wrapped her arm around the man beside her. "If the only way you'll stop pestering me is by finding another man, then let me tell you, he's my new boyfriend. We're together now, and soon I'll be going to his place to meet his parents. There's no chance for you and me anymore." As these words fell, both men present froze in shock. Jeremy couldn't hide his excitement. "Really?" Robert just stared at her blankly, seeing nothing but finality written across her face. At this moment, he realized that no matter what, Odelia would never forgive him again. He had lost, Completely. Seeing his silence, Odelia ignored him as well and walked away. Jeremy raised an eyebrow, unable to suppress a smirk. Having walked some distance away, he couldn't wait to ask, "What you just said?" "You heard everything I said earlier." Odelia released his hand and looked up at him. "Mr. Jeremy, sorry for using you as a shield. You used me once, I used you once, we're even. But I didn't want to be your shield." Jeremy wanted to say that he'd actually like to try being with her. Odelia didn't give him a chance to finish that sentence. "Mr. Jeremy, we're strangers who met by chance, and likely will never see each other again in this lifetime. During travels, we often encounter many people, but they're all just passing figures. I suppose I'm merely another passerby in your journey." "I don't see it that way," Jeremy said earnestly. "I rarely develop feelings for a woman, and I'm completely serious about this. I've been married before, and lost a child. I've grown disillusioned with marriage. I'm not ready to step into another grave so soon." Odelia smiled and patted his shoulder. "You're so outstanding. You'll meet someone more suitable in the future." With that, Odelia turned and walked away. On the way back, she spotted someone selling roses. The young girl stood holding the roses, unable to sell even one blossom for the longest time. She walked over and bought all her roses outright. Even if no one gave her flowers, she could buy them herself. What matters most in life is living happily on your own terms. Watching her carefree retreating figure, Jeremy curved his lips into a faint smile. She's really quite interesting. Did she think Jeremy was some kind of relic? These things mean nothing to him. She was the one who got hurt, not the one doing the hurting. She deserves better. The one who should feel regret and take responsibility is that despicable man. Odelia had already seen the sea. It was time for her to go home, so early in the morning, she packed her luggage and went to the front desk to check out. "Miss, are you leaving already?" "Yeah." Robert was here. She didn't want to stay a moment longer. "All right, your checkout has been processed." After completing the checkout, the front desk staff handed her a document. "This was left at the front desk this morning by Mr. Robert. He asked us to give you this document when you checked out." Odelia looked at the document in her hand, her fingers trembling slightly. "Where is he, Mr. Robert said he knew you didn't want to see him, so he took the earliest flight back to his home country." "Thank you." Odelia walked aside and opened the document in her hand. When she saw the divorce agreement, she froze for a moment. When she flipped to the last page of the document and saw Robert's signature, tears streamed from her eyes. Not sadness, but happiness. She was happy Robert was finally willing to let her go. Happy that she could finally say goodbye to everything in the past. "Oh, miss, another gentleman also left something for you." The front desk staff walked over and handed her a business card. Odelia took it and glanced at it, finding it was Jeremy's business card. Just as she had expected, he was a big shot, the president of a corporation. He said if you have any matters, you can call him. He's looking forward to meeting you. "Where did he go?" "I heard there was a family emergency, so he took a helicopter back overnight." "Is that so?" Odelia raised an eyebrow and tossed the business card in her hand into the nearby trash can. She was no longer a young girl who expected beautiful encounters during her travels. Having met and gotten acquainted was enough. Any further developments would only spoil the beauty of the moment. Throwing away the business card and putting away the divorce papers, Odelia left the hotel. She returned to her home country and rushed back home. The car drove up the mountainside and finally stopped in front of a villa. The servant saw her. "Miss, you've finally returned." "Yeah, Sister Lee, where's my mom?" "She's inside waiting for you. Cooked a lot of delicious food for you herself." Hearing this, Odelia quickened her pace. "Dad, Mom, your little princess is back." As soon as the door opened, the aroma that greeted her made her feel incredibly happy. "Wow, all my favorite dishes." It had been so long since she'd last returned after getting married. How wonderful it was to be home again, eating her mother's cooking. "You greedy girl, have you washed your hands?" Her mother walked over and, seeing her grab food with bare hands, couldn't help but say affectionately, "You're all grown up now, yet still acting like a child. Mom, I've missed you so much." She threw herself into her mother's arms, coquettishly pleading, "I don't want to get married anymore. Can't I just stay home and keep you company forever?" "That won't do." Her mother shook her head and said earnestly, "You've already divorced Robert. You're free now. Start preparing tomorrow. I've found you a good match. It's time for a blind date." Odelia frowned. "I've just crawled out of one grave, and you want me to jump into another? What grave? That man has excellent conditions. He's handsome, and this time Mom and Dad chose him for you, definitely better than Robert. Yes, Robert was her choice. He thought she had nothing and was nobody. Little did he know, she too had been a little princess cherished in someone's palms. Alright, I'll go meet them, okay. Odelia pouted her red lips, though displeased. She knew her mother would keep nagging if she didn't go. Meeting someone once wouldn't be such a big deal. In an elegant Western restaurant, Odelia appeared before her blind date with obvious impatience. The man's eyes widened in surprise at the sight of her. Odelia, he exclaimed. Jeremy. The two exchanged a smile. Feeling that to unexpectedly meet in the vast sea of people was truly fate, and she and Jeremy were indeed fated, Odelia sat down and glanced at the sky outside the window. A light rain began to fall, fine and dense, just like the day 10 years ago when she first met Robert. The rain that day had been just as gentle. It's a pity they never had an ending after all.